Hey everyone, this is Alex Rome, and today I'm going to show you how to make a future bass drop. Only, we're not going to make this drop in one of my projects. This project was sent in by this person. The other day, I asked all of you to send me your projects so I can use them in videos instead of using just my projects, because that gets kind of boring, and I want to incorporate you guys in the fun. So let's go ahead, listen to this project real quick. It already has its own little drop, which is nice and everything, but I feel like adding my own drop to it, and I feel like this user or this person really set me up well to go ahead and add a dope drop to this project. So let's do it. I'm gonna play this through, then we're gonna get right to the making. I might throw a little bit of critique in there as well. Nice percussion, some like tropical house stuff. Reminds me of tropical percussion. You could have went without this section here. So like a little tip, just take that section out and you can go right into this section here, which would be kind of like your bridge to the drop. You could use a little less spread on the leads, have them be right centered. Dope. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get rid of some stuff you have here. This part of the drop, although it sounds cool, you can use that sort of sound for like a different part of the song. You don't have to, throw that in the drop just to get a different sound. I think this part of your drop sounds dead on perfect. So let's make it sound way better. Let's add two minds to it. Instead of one. So I'm guessing we are not absolute. Alright, there we go. So let's line everything up here. The entrance of your drop. And I'm going to go through. You have some drop chords here. Drop chords saw, and then let's make sure, okay, we have nothing at the head of this track stack. Nice EQing, that is beautiful. You've been watching my videos. Let's see the white noise. Oh wow, you have been really watching my videos, because that is exactly how I EQ white noise. Beautiful. But you forgot to spread the white noise. Drop chord square. Nice. I'm actually going to do this with that square because we're going to go that entire momentum. Like, we're going to make a big like wub 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 sound for that. So I'm noticing your leads, you kind of are in this thing where you do where you always have a left and a right lead, which is cool. If you have a singer, that would be a great method to do with a singer. However, with these leads, you want them to be as centered as possible. So, along with a left and a right, you want to add that center lead. But don't worry, I'm going to add that center lead for you. Next, we have bass. It's a beautiful bass. But I want to leave out some of the higher frequencies that came with that bass. So I'm just going to go with a sine wave. Pure sub bass is made with a sine wave, and when you're working with bass, what I think you should really do is always have that pure sub bass layer and then that low cut high harmonic bass layer separate. Like, try not to have them all the same thing, because then it takes away from your sub bass when you have a sub bass sound mixed with a high harmonic sound all in the same preset, if you kind of get what I'm saying. So just have pure sub bass. And then what we can do is we can duplicate that sub bass and go ahead and add a more wobbly sound. So let's go ahead and do it. Let me get rid of this. Oh yeah, and by the way, this user, I keep calling this person a user. This person who sent me the project has only been producing for about 3 months. So judging from your project, you're progressing so well in music. This project is so nice. Doesn't even seem to me like that you've been working in music for only 3 months. It looks like you've been doing it for a lot longer than that, judging from the EQing and the layering and stuff like that. So let's go ahead, add a high harmonic bass line. Sounds like this. Nice. We got that nice opening here, that LFO. Like, you're already sound designing perfectly. You're gonna be give it 2 years, 2.5 years. If you stick with music, you're gonna be the best one out there. So nice. We have our sub bass mixed with. It sounds like we have a little resonance going on though. Yep. See that little bit of resonance? I don't like that resonance. And I also don't want this. There we go. I didn't want it to open completely because sometimes you get that awkward sound. So let's go. We'll call this sub, and we'll have that. So you have a nice kick. You have 2 layers to your kick, a low kick and a high kick. You're freaking layering kicks over here, and you've been doing this for only 3 months? Bullshit. You have some nice tactics here. Some really nice tactics. It's like really exciting to get to work on a project of somebody who's been doing this for only 3 months. If you've been producing for such a small amount of time and you're worried that I won't pick your project because maybe you haven't been doing it long enough, think again. Send me all your projects. I don't care how long you've been doing it. I want to make you all better. I want to make you the best as I could possibly make you. So let's keep going here. So your kicks, I'm going to drag them out of here because your kicks, you want to group them up differently than all your other percussion. You want to group up percussion based on frequency range. So these kicks are going to be the sub-bassers. So I'm going to group these up as if we're just grouping them based on their frequency band. So like low end, let's keep them together. Let's keep high frequency percussions like the hi-hats, the looks like cymbals. No, yeah, they're hi-hats actually. We got some more hi-hats here. We have snares, claps. Group them up together because they're all high frequency and they're not low frequency. So you don't want to put them together because then when you process them together, weird stuff happens. We have a bone dry percussion line here. So I'm going to go ahead and add you a reverb that we're actually going to use throughout the entire duration of the drop. I'm going to use a medium spaced reverb because I love the sound of the medium sized reverbs. Oh, that is beautiful. This is beautiful. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a compressor to see how dynamic your percussion is without really doing anything yet. Your clap snare is sticking above everything, but that's totally cool. I mean, that's what you want. And then your other percussion can like be right behind the snare. So your snare you want to be the most dominant. Yeah. And we're getting a nice compression on it anyway. This project's so easy to mix, which means it was nicely produced. So it's really cool. So let's keep going here. We have our nice percussion. We have a clap layered with a snap, a left and right. Be careful when you're doing this. I would actually recommend that you have all of your percussion centered, your dominant layers centered, and then layer the left and right. So have one clap that's centered, and then you can have a left and a right if you really want to go as far as, you know, panning everything super left and super right. Even though I don't hear it that much here, there's always room to throw something down the center here. So I would highly recommend you do that on your own time, because I want to get to the leads. It's going to be so sick. Oh wow, I can't wait to compress this, even though it doesn't really need it. Because you have it has a little transient there, but then it goes up again, and that's always weird to me. So I'm just going to put a light compression on, even though your transient is doing its thing. We don't need that much. Let's just do a really slight compression here, just to say we did it. You know what I mean? So now we did that. Really cool. So now we have our bass there. I'm gonna make a nice ghost kick that we're gonna sidechain to. So I'm gonna throw this right here, and I may ungroup this if it messes with, yeah, it's gonna mess with the levels in some 10. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to no output this, and then we're going to get some side chaining done. So if I play this, for some reason I could still hear it. What did I just no output? B10, B10. Uh-oh. I just no outputted something. I don't know what I did that to. Change output and channel, and then undo change output and channel. Yeah, I have no idea what I just no outputted, so let's just go back and redo that. No output. If we're missing an instrument later, we'll know why. So these, when you have a bass like this that kind of starts from nothing and builds up, it adds all the more specialness when you can sidechain it as well. And I was actually doing a private coaching session yesterday, and I figured this out, that the black version of this compressor is the best at sidechaining, even though it has no release knob, which, you know, I don't like. Yeah, it has no release knob. That's weird. Even though it doesn't have a release knob, it sidechains the strongest, which is definitely really cool. So let's sidechain to that ghost kick. We have a lot of audio files to look for, so I'm gonna make this something really obnoxious so we can find it in the list, if you know what I'm talking about. Let's go to sidechain, ghost, blah, blah. We're looking for that one, and we're gonna sidechain to that. Watch this. So here's our sidechaining going on there. Oh. We don't want to go that hard. So nice, we got a nice sidechain there. And what that'll do is just make sure that on every kick there's some sidechaining. But what I also want to do with this kind of drop is I like to also sidechain the snare clap as well. So I'm just going to put a signal right in the middle here. Okay, so let's go into these leads. And these leads, my issue with these is they just sound like they're a million miles away. There's too much reverb on them. There's a little bit of unevenness in this, and just by looking at this, by hearing it, I heard all the OTT, I didn't realize you have a lot of EQing. You don't need that much EQing. If you need that much EQing in a sound, my recommendation would be just ditch the sound and take a new sound, because you want to avoid having to do that. Also, when you group up stuff like leads, I'm gonna regroup these just so we can get out of all of the leads that aren't in this section of the song. What was I saying? We're gonna affect these together, and what I mean by that is I'm not gonna have OTT on both of these layers, because then what happens is you accumulate all these layers of OTT, and you really don't have to, because then what it starts to do, OTT will start working against you by not sounding good, because it's such a powerful plugin that you could potentially overuse it. So when you're using OTT and you have a grouped couple of layers like these leads here, and I'm going to recenter them, you want to add one instance of OTT here, and you want to EQ on the group head. So let's get rid of this EQing and this EQing, because right there, that'll just cause over EQing, you know, and we don't want to have to go through that. Alright, so let's go turn off the reverb that is in here. Let's turn off this compressor because we also don't need that. I'm going to compress them separately. Let's turn off this reverb. Let's turn off this compressor because you don't need a bunch of different reverbs layered on top of each other. It doesn't sound good. It really doesn't help out the sound. So that's what they sound like. Dry. That's what I'm going for. And I want to get one more layer in there that's more like, I guess, high frequency. So it does a good job at being a low frequency sound, but I want more high frequency in the sound before OTT. So then I can add OTT and only have to use a little bit of it. So let's go into initialize preset. Oh, it looks like you design your own sound there. The best thing to do. It just gets you so good. It'll make you so good as a producer if you could just design all the sounds you want to use. You're on a right path, person who made this project. Alright, let's go into envelope 2. And what I'm gonna do is just make like a pluck. I have to solo this out. And let's reveal some high frequency. So then what we could do with this sound, watch this. This is like one of my favorite things to do a couple of years ago, is you take the layer of it, put these an octave up, maybe 2 octaves, that'll probably sound cool. And then this is what you do, you zoom really far in, and then you put the upper layer back a little bit. Then what we could do is we could take our grand layering like this, and we can EQ them together so we can avoid having to EQ 4 layers when we can only have to EQ 1. This will save your computer a lot of CPU as well. Synths tend to build up in the 500 to 1K area, so I always dip that now. And I saw Cashmere do that. Not sure if that matters to you, but mattered to me. And it sounds like we took a lot of our sound away, but we're just not used to hearing it yet. I'm going to compress these. The Platinum Digital compresses like the Platinum Digital version of this compressor, not the Studio, blah, 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 not any of those. The Platinum Digital, when you're compressing plucks, gives you a big transient, like gives the biggest punchy transient. So I use this one on plucks. Only thing is it works so damn slow, and I like quick working compressors. See how like slow the pin goes back down? It's just like, oh, move a little faster. I don't know. Maybe I'm maybe I'm being too hard on the Platinum Digital. Okay, so now I'm gonna add some nice reverb, and we could possibly throw some delay on this too. I like this. I like this a lot. Let's go ahead and sidechain this, because why not? You know, it's another sound that we gotta shine the kick through. And the only way to shine the kick through is like, sidechaining is kind of like moving the clouds when you want the sun to come through. So if you don't sidechain, it would be like the clouds covering up the sun. The sun's still there, but it's not shining through the clouds. Do you get it? That's like what sidechaining is. You want to hear the kick. You want to see the sun. So sidechain, move the clouds. So let's go to Classic VCA and use this as our sidechainer of choice, because it is the strongest sidechainer. Also, I'm noticing now, I shouldn't notice this earlier, but your levels are a little high. They're way high, actually. I think. Let me go back here. Nah, maybe it's me. I'm sorry about that. That is beautiful. See how awesome that sounds? And this is you made this drop. All I did was mix it. I didn't really even do anything. Yeah, take those hi-hats away. This sounds beautiful. Awesome. So, now what's left is we have to throw some stuff in the background, like in the atmosphere. And so here's the thing with adding sounds in the atmosphere that the listener's not really paying attention to. You want to keep that thought that the listeners aren't going to pay attention to what's going on in the background. So basically, you're taking an empty background that is nothing, and you're making it something. And basically, that just makes everything sound a little more interesting. So take the time and add those sounds that nobody's paying attention to. This is what makes the best songs, because artists are so good at that. Like, you can take this drop, you could take this beautiful drop, you know, and in my opinion, competes well with any of the drops that are released any day on the biggest labels. But there's nothing in the background of this drop, and there's stuff in the background of those big drops. So this drop is an idea, and it needs stuff going on in the atmosphere in the background. And I'm going to show you an easy way to get started making your own cool backgrounds, and you know, maybe give you a couple tips to beef up your backgrounds and make them sound 10 times cooler. So let's go ahead and give us a new software instrument as such. Let's do create, and I'm gonna use a synthetic background now. But what's really cool is if you do what I'm about to do with a vocal chop, it just makes everything like so much fun. Especially if you have a female singer, you know, by your side. Use that. If you have a singer just sitting around not really doing anything, and you know, you're a producer over here, get your singer next to you and make music. Singers are the hardest thing, like a good singer, hardest thing to come around. A singer that you can work with, like work well with, that's like priceless. So let's take this. I don't even know what I just said. I don't know why I just said that. But anyway, let's just continue making this drop the masterpiece that it is. So Know what I noticed? We have these beautiful drop chords. We didn't add reverb to them. And we didn't sidechain the reverb. Oh, I'm an idiot. I just added reverb to the wrong layer. I keep doing that today. Today is the day where I'm just going to add the wrong processing to the wrong channels. There we go. And then why not, while we're here, just add a tiny bit of delay that's going to be on all of the layers with reverb now. That's what's cool about busing to a reverb. Now we don't gotta add delay to every single layer. We can just add it to the reverb bus, and now all the layers will get this reverb, or this delay. And when you're delaying, you want a high and low cut. Just makes it sound so much better, and it makes it sound different than the original signal. Wow, that is a really, really cool sound. Feedback, we can. I wanna get one more signal into the right ear, so I'm guessing I'm gonna have to do up the right feedback. And just like that, that'll add more sound to the atmosphere. Cool. So let's go to the atmosphere now and add some sounds going crazy in the background. Like, and I mean crazy. So I'm gonna see if this is the right key to work in. Yep, that's our key. So let's take something like this. We'll take something like this. It sounds bad right now, I know, but watch, we're gonna mix it and make sure it sounds perfect before I end this video. So I'm gonna take that, let's add some reverb. Oh wow, I can really hear all that delay. Since this is an atmospheric sound, that's okay to add a different reverb because it's okay to do that because we're creating an atmosphere. Even though I always say try to minimize the amount of reverbs you're using to like one reverb or two. Well, this is our second one, and it's for the atmosphere. So every atmosphere could potentially get a long reverb like I'm adding like this. Let's see if we can go higher though. That actually sounds beautiful. Wow. I love making music. And with these, I like to casually cut them off just a tiny bit. let's take this, wing it from ear to ear with some tremolo. A slow moving tremolo, we don't need anything too fast. Let's go like this. Damn. And you can go ahead, fill in those bass areas here with some like crazy like wing, like some crazy basses, you know what I'm talking about? Like throw like an 808 in the middle of these spaces here, so your bass comes in here, fill that out with some more bass, and I think the momentum of your drop will just sound really, really awesome, and like it's always moving. And that's what you want to go for when you're making a drop, is make sure the momentum is always moving. So it starts here and then ends here, and you don't gotta like wait for the end to come. You know what I'm talking about? Like you want to like, I'm trying to say something like that. But anyway, if you want to send me a project to use in a video, I'll leave my information in the description for you to do just that. And if you took any value from this video, go ahead and leave me a thumbs up. And I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to my channel too. My name's Alex Rome. Stay tuned for some more awesome stuff.